Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Foreigner Footy Files. I'm Natalia Pinkney, and this is episode 7, Time Flies When You're Stressed. So this is file 4 in the Australian folder, and this week we're just going to pick back up where we left off with, me being ghosted by the coach of South and taking initiative, taking control, and contacting the goalkeeper coach of Logan. So before we pop back into the drama, we're going to continue with a piece of the poems of my path. So this poem is titled, Who Do You Think You Signed? Y'all think you know me, but you don't even see me. Throwing buzzwords, empty promises, and bullshit at me. Talking about, you'll be a star, you'll shine. You really think that's what I came here to be? Maybe clean off those glasses, because you clearly can't see. I'm just some numbers on a page. Sign here and live up to your wage. But what's a contract even supposed to mean if it's only me living up to the ink on those pages, it seems? It's hard not to feel like the grass is greener when every 10 months my bags are packed, team saying, we don't need her. But all of this is bigger than me, trying to use my talent to speak up for those in need. Women and girls darker than your summer tan, looking on social media thinking, I don't know if I can. Because that's all we know. It's what we're taught. When you're too brown to be held down, well, we're all we've got. Sisters from different mistas chasing our dreams, wishing someone will choose us for maybe 1, 2, or 3. Seasons, years, however long we can acquire. But that's what this is about. Not shining, but to inspire. For those who look like me, please remember we too are meant to be. Meant to be at the top. No need to Photoshop. Our names featured on posts and no need to boast. Because we do belong. We have all along. And to those who pass us by, glaze over our names and say, nice try. At this point, I feel sorry for y'all. Because a player like me, gonna give it my all. All right. So, let's get right back into it. A little refresher. I've essentially been ghosted, as I said, right? Hopes are crushed. Anger is all the way up. Pain and desperation are activated. So, with the recommendation from my teammate, I messaged the goalkeeper coach from Logan. So, we're going to keep up with the dates a little bit, trying to keep everything in order. So, as I said, February 26th, I texted my teammate telling her that the coach from South was like, oh, you should go play for Verbena and you'll be a star and blah, blah, blah. Please refer to the poem in the beginning. And then February 27th, we decided to hang out, have a little meeting, discuss my options because clearly he's on some shit, trying to tell me to go down leagues, to stay here. He's just trying to sabotage because he knows damn well that I should be in the NPL. And instead of him just doing right by me and keeping me, he's trying to kick me out. And that's not what we doing. That's not what we about here. So we hang out on the 27th. This is a Tuesday. And I decide to text the goalkeeper coach from Logan. And we text. It's a good conversation. And he invites me to a training session. So now let's move on to February 28th. Time is running out. Like the clock is literally ticking. And I shot my shot with Logan, and I'm now starting my job at Hotshot, the cafe in Main Beach. And now I got bank problems because, why not just add to it? Why not just keep going with the stress, It's never a dull moment. So I text the South coach, and I am going to read quote for quote, word for word, bar for bar, what I said to this man. I said, hey, so the bank information said if I don't have money in my account by Monday, it's now Wednesday, that they shutting it down. That was the text I sent. Because the bank was like, listen, ma'am, you've been here for a couple of weeks. You've opened a bank account and you ain't got no money in there. So we gonna have to shut you out. Naturally, right? Makes sense. So I text the coach talking about what's going on. Because how I still ain't get paid. What y'all doing? Clearly not your job. Clearly. So 2 days later, March 2nd, all things are stressing me out at once. I've confirmed my trial practice for the following Monday after a work shift at Hotshot. And I'm checking that off of my list. I check my bank account and it's still zero. 2 days later, after I messaged my coach telling him my bank account's about to get shut down unless I get my monies, and there's still nothing in there. It's Friday. I don't know. I don't really remember particularly how the banks work in Australia, but in America, if you don't put something in by a certain time on Friday, that don't ain't hit until a certain time on Monday, usually opening hours on Monday. But the bank is saying that they're closing my account down on Monday. So I'm thinking if it's not in there by Friday evening, my Monday morning, they cutting that off. So I still have nothing in there by Friday. So naturally, panic, right? Thank you. So I text the coach again because at this point I'm like, ain't no need to be cordial or non-hostile. No, I'm being hostile because where's my money? And he tells me to contact the woman in charge. I almost dropped her name because I'm so frustrated rethinking about all this. I ain't gonna drop her name. We ain't doxing nobody here. I did not contact that woman. Absolutely not. It's not my job. He did. And he said, oh, it should be in the account later that night. Y'all want to take a guess if it was? Go ahead. But on the right side, I was going dancing with my coworker later that evening. And she is, I'm going to take a moment to just describe this woman. She is amazing. She is still to this day one of my best friends in the entire world. And we are as close as ever. She really saved me at that workplace. I really enjoyed working there. Don't get me wrong. I spent years working at that cafe, but there were its ups and downs. We will get into those ups and downs, but my girl, yeah, she had my back. And since the first day that we met, we were inseparable. Yeah, that's my Milky right there. I'm the Cocoa Puff to her Milky. We'll get to that story. But yeah, so me and her were going dancing with her roommate at the time, and we decided this after a work shift. Now, speaking about work, I need to make something abundantly clear. Okay, I didn't lie in my resume. I may have embellished my work history a little bit and say that I had experience with serving people. I kind of did. I helped serve people in banquets in high school for sports, but that is nothing like serving at an actual cafe to people you don't know in a professional setting. It's not the same. It's not the same. But, it got me in the door and it got me the job. It became very clear very fast that I had never done this before, and my boss, who had insane amounts of experience in very high established names like Versace, as a professional, server, she could tell right away your girl had no idea what was going on. So I had to learn very quickly how to carry 3 plates at once, how to clear off a table while holding 2 plates and clearing with the other hand and not dropping things, not breaking things, not making a scene. But yeah, we'll get back into my work life a little bit later. But just to let y'all know, I got that job smooth, finessed, and it was very clear that I had no idea what I was doing. But we kept the job and we good. Anyway, back to the soccer. Football, my bad. So, actually, before we get back into that, I need to talk about the dancing. So, my coworker comes to pick me up and she sees my place, right? She walks in there and it's an immediate no. Like, she walked into the apartment, looked at me, it was like, all right, let's go. And we get into her car to go leave and meet up with her roommate to go dancing. And she's like, we got to get you out of there. I was like, what you mean? She's like, this is hell. This place is not good. It's sketchy. You need to get out of here. You're better than the floor. You're paying them in cash. There's stains on the carpet. Like, what is going on? I was like, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I should probably get out. So we start the process of me looking for a new place. And yeah. We'll get back to that. So back to the bank issue. Yeah, so by Sunday, which is now the 4th, right? I had half of the money that was owed to me. So, at least I got something in the account and won't get shut down, but they couldn't even pay me the full amount. At this point, now I'm even wondering, do I want to stay with this club? Because they can't even pay nobody on time. Like, what is going on? This is just unprofessional, all around. Unprofessional. So then I'm texting with the South's coach, and shocker, He wants to meet for another coffee to speak about my options because, why have a direct phone call or just handle things professionally when we can have a coffee, try and discuss what's going on in a public setting where I guess he thinks I can't make a scene. I don't know. But I'm thinking, discuss my options. Like, don't worry about that, homie. I got my options covered. I'm already on it. You late. You late to the party. So Monday comes around, which is now March 5th, and it's time for another trial. And the South's training got canceled. I believe it was bad weather. So it was perfect, right? No one will know. Everything's going to be sweet, under wraps. No one's going to even notice that I'm training with another team, right? Right? Wrong. So I texted with my teammate before going, and my roommates at the time, I'm sitting in the living room and I'm texting with my teammate, super nervous about going to this trial, really wanting everything to work out. And I look over to my left and I see that my roommates are looking up drugs on the deep web. So now I'm sitting here like, I know you lying. I'm sitting here trying to keep myself in line to, determine my future of Australia. And y'all looking up drugs on the deep web? Interesting. So we're texting each other for encouragement. She's got her own stuff going on. So I'm texting her encouragement and she's texting me. And we're getting ourselves in the mindset to, crush it and put our lives on the right track. You know what I'm saying? So I then meet up later at the Helen Vale station with the goalkeeper coach from Logan. And we are driving to the training session. We chat the whole way. He's super nice, very easy to talk to. He's also from England. I think there's a trend here. He's also from England. And so we're just talking and getting to know each other. He's asking me questions, obviously, like, so what's been going on at Sal's? Why are you leaving? Da 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 da. Right? So we get there and I walk into the locker room. And it's a bit awkward. Like, I think I was one of the first ones there. So I get in there and I'm just sitting there. I put my cleats on super fast. I'm just sitting, not speaking. And yeah, I'm awkward. I'm nervous. So, I mean, from y'all can probably tell that I'm not exactly quiet. I'm not exactly shy per se. But in this moment, I was so scared and nervous and second guessing everything that I just went mute for a little bit and I just sat there. Eventually I did open up a little bit and the girls and I are talking and they're asking me, why I'm there, who I am, blah, 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 the normal questions. And then we got to training and I performed well. I get out there and I do my thing and everything goes according to plan, right? So the girls were mad cool, like mad cool and super inviting. And I was offered a contract that night. Like we got back into the car and he was like, listen, if you want this, we want this. Clearly things aren't working out at South. You need a team. We could use some help. And you did really well tonight. You seem to fit in with the girls. If you want the spot, it's yours. And I was like, I didn't even get back to my apartment yet. And I've already got offered another contract. So I'm lit. I'm like, bet, let's go. I've just secured my stay in Australia. Of course I'm taking it. So I'm texting with my girl after, and y'all, tea was spilled in this conversation. So while I was at the training session, obviously the girls are, after they decided that they wanted to keep me, the girls and I are talking more and they're wanting to get to know me. And I'm telling them what's going on at South. And apparently half of this team has a bone to pick with this coach at South. So he's burned a lot of people in the league. And I would say more than half of the girls on Logan used to be coached by this guy at some point, and they left because he was just so unreliable. He was just disrespectful. He was rude. He played games and toyed with people's time. So a lot of those girls weren't exactly fond of this man. So it was quite easy for us to bond because we all had something in common. We were not happy with this man, right? And so girls are just spilling tea left and right. The biggest tea that I have about this situation was the goalie coach that I was talking to, the man that took me to the training, the man that helped me make this team, used to coach under him. The goalkeeper coach, Logan, used to coach underneath, or coach for, not underneath, no one's underneath anyone, used to coach for the coach for South, right? Apparently, it was the season before. So the season ended, right? Season ends with South, and the goalkeeper coach is just chilling, waiting to hear from him, confirmation that he's being brought back for the next season. He does not contact him. He ghosts him. By the time I met the goalkeeper coach for Logan and we're starting this whole process and I'm joining the team, it had been 5 months since he's spoken to the South coach. 5 months. He ghosted him. And so he basically told me, he's like, yeah, well, he hadn't contacted me in like 5 months. So I just figured, I was moving on and I wasn't being rehired. So I just left. And in my head, I'm thinking, how you just gonna ghost somebody? How you not gonna have the set of balls to just tell someone you're not bringing them back? You just don't talk to them ever again? That's not how this works. That's not professional. So that is how we ended up at Logan. So it seems like people who get burned by the South coach end up at Logan. That just seems to be a little bit of a trend. So yeah, the girls from the team don't like him. The goalkeeper coach from Logan has a little bit of animosity towards him. And this man seems to be getting a bit of a bad rep, in my book anyway. So now my adrenaline is high. My emotions are all over. But I can now take a breath, right? Because I've been offered a contract, and although things aren't working out as South, I got to back up. The team wants me and I want them. And so we're going to work through this together. And like I said, Logs wasn't exactly in the best position on the ladder, but I then found out that it was their first season in the NPL. So they had just been promoted from, I believe it's the FQPL. And so now they're in NPL. And so them being near the bottom of the table now makes sense, right? So now I'm like, you know what? We just gonna move up together. That's what this is about, team sport. So I get back home and I'm like, whew, all right, I got myself another team. And I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to move on. And I'm ready to get myself settled in Australia. But of course, something's always got to happen. So the next day, the 6th, training with South is canceled. And mind you, I'm still on the team. So although I've done this trial with Logan the night before and they've offered me a contract, I didn't sign anything. Nothing was done illegally. I'm still with South. So I text the South coach, and I'm going to just read y'all the message from between me and the coach. Hey, coach. I was going to chat with you in person after practice tonight, but since it's canceled, I wanted to message you. I know you wanted to meet up and speak again about the options that you gave me, but the options that are available just aren't what I had planned for myself when I came over here. I'm really appreciative of everything you've done for me here, and I know I could get paid well for playing for your friend, and I could stay in the club with the City League, but I just feel that I came here to play in the NPL, and I'm good enough to stay at this level. I think it's best for me to leave South and look in other possible options in the NPL so I can properly further my stay here in Australia. Pretty proud of myself. Very professional, calm, no shade, but advocating, saying I deserve better and the options you gave me aren't good enough. His response: that's fine, Natalia. I heard you trained at Logan last night. If you ever need any help or advice, always feel free to call me. Pardon? What do you mean you heard I trained with Logs last night? So I respond, oh yeah? Where'd you hear that from? Oh, one of the girls from Logan. Wasn't that you? I said, oh, weird. Yeah, that was me. Who from Logan? Didn't think that was something to be shared since I haven't made any real decisions yet. He says, that's okay. A few of the girls I coached are at Logan. We know this. They ain't fond of you. And one of their parents saw you train there last night. So someone's mother or father opened their mouth about my business and ran and told the coach that I had trained with Logan. I said, oh, okay. I was also wondering, since my contract was done on Saturday anyway, I wanted to check that me leaving the club altogether wouldn't mean me not getting paid for the last game. And he says, things don't happen like that over here, Natalia. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I mean, you'll be paid fully by the club. You're owed your money, plus the loss on Saturday, and so you'll get what you're owed. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then he asked me, well, how much have you been paid? And I was like, just the first installment. He says, okay, well, by this weekend, I'll tell the club to pay you the rest. I said, okay, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Best of luck to you and the girls the rest of the season. And he says, well, everything is set up for you now, Natalia. You have a job, an opportunity to meet lots of people and make some good friends. Are you joking? Really? That's what you have to say to me? Okay. Um, yes, I'm all set up now, coach. Everything's all good because I took care of myself. You tried to play me. You tried to derail my career here in the NPL, and you wanted me to go down a level to keep me out of the competition, and I duped you. You tried to swindle me, and I swindled you back. Reverse. For those who play Uno reverse. Um, yeah, so that was the conversation that I had with the South's coach on the 6th, the day after trialing with Logan. So, yeah, interesting conversation. He's full of it. He's full of it. So then on the same day, I went to actually have lunch with my coworker from Hotshot, and we were celebrating the fact that I have confirmed a team and I'm staying. We're going to stay coworkers. I get to continue to play in the MPL, and she takes me to this burger place called Burger Urge. Y'all, this place is delicious. Delicious. The burgers are delicious. I think the only place better than Burger Urge would be Longboards. Now, Longboards is pricey, but the burgers be hitting. They are extravagant looking, and it's definitely worth the money. They also have really good milkshakes. But yeah, so we go to Burger Urge, and we are having a celebratory lunch. She's taking some time off of her studies, and I am just taking a deep breath that I can now, just enjoy my time and start to get the ball rolling in my career and my life, right? So later that day, I hit up my teammate, and she tells me that the goalkeeper coach from Logan actually messaged her and thanked her for sending me over to the team, and that all of the girls thought that I fit in really well with them and that they have high hopes for the future with me, which was super encouraging because I just had a coach mess around with me in my time for an entire 3 weeks, almost a month, making me believe that I had a chance when we found out, me and my teammate, we found out that all along he had planned to have these certain 3 girls on the team no matter what. So her and I were kind of screwed for playing time or positions on the team from the jump. Hers is a bit different because she had citizenship in Australia. So if he didn't play her, she could just hop to another team. Me being a foreigner, yeah, not so much, not the same deal. So basically, from the start, he was playing games with me and just using me to fill in the spot for the girl who was injured and recovering, just so he had somebody to do the work for him, get those goals that he needed, keep them top of the table, and then he was planning to kick me to the curb from the very beginning. Like, I need y'all to understand, especially men, any men listening to this podcast, women always find out. We always find out the truth. We figure it out. Stop playing games with us. Like, I don't care that I'm new. I'm going to figure out what's going on. What's the up and up? You was trying me and you lost because I'm not the one to play with. You got the right one on the wrong day or the wrong one on the right day. Whichever one you want to look at it through, that's me. And you try to play with me, my career, my future, my livelihood. Not an option, honey. Yeah, nah. Not me. So now I got my apartment dilemma, right? So we're going to hop back over to that little situation. I need to get out of there, guys. Like, when my coworker came over and she was like, absolutely not, that was just God kicking me in the face saying, please get out of there. Like, you already know it's bad. You got looking up drugs on the deep web. You've got dogs in heat bleeding out all over the carpet, wearing boxers instead of, doggy diapers. You've got a mattress on the floor. You're paying them in cash. They're definitely stealing your money. Just a typical, casual, healthy living situation. Jokes. So now I'm looking for a place that accepts couples because my partner is coming soon to join me over in Australia. And so I need to make sure wherever I'm going next will accept my partner, because that was something, that was a criteria of looking into the current apartment that I had, was that they would accept my partner. Funny enough, this couple was actually on the fence about it. They were like, oh, we'll see. But you can move in. We really like you. And then we'll decide later if we are going to allow him to move in here. In my head, I'm thinking, well, there's no decide later. He is coming to Australia. We are going to live together. So either you let him or you don't. It's okay. God did the work. and intercepted, and I got out of there anyway. So I am looking for other options, trying to figure out if they accept couples. And, I woke up the next day to no internet. So I'm just trying to get my life together. I got to get my TFN, which is my tax file number. I got to get, adult stuff in order. Although these people have no idea what those responsibilities are. I need to get myself together, right? So I wake up to no internet. They sleeping until 2 p.m. And I'm just sitting around waiting for them to gain consciousness because I'm like, y'all, we ain't got no intranet. And I'm fairly certain that the router was in their room. And let's just say I was not going up in there. No, not happening. So I wake up, I wait till they wake up, and I'm sitting around, and I walk out looking at that stain on the carpet, and I just had like a moment to myself. I was like, okay, this is the last straw. Like for some reason, staring at that stain on the carpet, my brain was like, we can't do this. We need to get out. So yeah, I hit my breaking point. And that was it for me. I needed to get out of there. So they wake up and they're like, what's going on? And I was like, there's no internet. And they're like, oh, wow, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, probably wasn't paid. They're like, oh, yeah, maybe. I was like, all right, well, you guys need to call somebody to get it fixed, get it figured out because we need internet. I need internet. I don't have enough data for this, and I need to be able to get myself together with my laptop, my TFN, all of my responsibilities. They didn't have phones. How I didn't realize this when I moved in is beyond me, but neither of them had a phone. So they were like, oh, well, can we use your phone to call and figure out the internet? And I was like, I mean, we have to, don't we? Because y'all don't have a phone. So yeah, we had to use my phone and figure out the internet. That was really nice. And then about a week, no, less than a week, a few days later, the boyfriend's best friend comes over and he is sitting in our doorway crying. I come back from training and at the top of the stairs, I see this stranger I've never seen before crying in our doorway. And I come home and they're like, oh, by the way, this is our friend. Yeah, him and his girlfriend just broke up, so he's going to stay with us for a little bit. I was like, where? We ain't got space for that. So homie's crashing on our couch. Turns out he's the supplier for the boyfriend. So remember, the boyfriend's a drug dealer. His best friend is the supplier. So now we got the supplier, the dealer, and this girlfriend staying in the apartment with me, this little old foreigner. I'm like, super healthy, super stable. Definitely violently uncomfortable. Definitely need to get the hell out of there. So anyway, back to the football. So the coach wants to play me in the next game on Friday the 9th. It's now the 8th, just to keep up with the timeline, right? So the 5th, I went for the trial. The 6th, I contacted the coach, basically telling him, you tried it. I'm not taking any of your options. I'm going to leave the club for sure. And then 2 days go by. It's now the 8th. And the lady from South won't answer about my deregistration from the club. So how things work, a little bit of insight. I can't just leave South and go to Logan. I need to fully and formally deregister within the league from South and then register under Logan as a player. So it's like a two-step process. And the lady from South is not answering. The head coach from Logan is not answering. So I haven't even been able to officially sign my new contract. I haven't been able to officially deregister from South. I'm just kind of in like this limbo area of I'm no longer with South. I'm most definitely going to Logan, but none of the paperwork is being done to solidify those moves. So I'm just sitting there like, thanks, fam. I'm not stressed at all. So the head coach is, leaving me on red. The lady from South is just completely just not doing her job. I mean, shocker. It took her, a month to pay me? So no surprises there. And, it's never a dull moment, guys. It's just never a dull moment. At this point, I've just, decided if something's going to happen, there's going to be a little bit of drama in between. So now I'm panicking because I want to play. The next day, I'm expected to play and paperwork is not done. So I'm stressing out. And then I wake up, it's now the 9th, And I start my day by telling my roommate that I'm leaving. So I was like, listen, yeah, I'm gonna leave tomorrow. Like I gave her no notice. And at first I felt super guilty because how you not gonna give somebody some notice that you're moving out? It's kind of messed up. But then I realized you're stealing money from me. You are drug dealers. You are unreliable. And there is a bloody stain on the carpet. So then I was like, nope, I don't feel bad. And I told a little bit of an embellishment. I said, oh, well, I changed teams, which is true. I changed teams and they want me to start immediately. So I'm going to stay with my coworker for a couple days until I get myself in order. But I have to live closer to where I'm playing. Sure. Y'all, I ended up moving like 5 minutes from where I was currently living. I did not move closer to where I was playing. That was not true. But I needed to get out of there. Like, it was a no go. So, it's now game day, right? And everything got sorted. I was able to play, and we lost bad. Like 5-0 bad. We lost bad. Rough start, okay? But you know, with every team, there's weak links, and the weak link of this team was the head coach. Lucky me. So he was not the brightest, right? Horrible decision making, like downright to the point it felt like it was intentional sabotage or decision making. So we lost a game that we probably could have won. Maybe not won, but just not lost as bad. And that was when I realized it's going to take some heart and some work to get some things rolling for this team. But, you know, how can I complain? I'm on a team. I'm staying in Australia. I've got a job. I'm moving to a better place that accepts partners, and you know, I'm good. I'm good. Everything's working out. So just take things as they come because your girl's staying in Australia. So that is where I'm going to pause from now. Yeah, it was an adventurous. I think that was only like a week or so after all the drama with figuring out South. So I've now signed with Logan. I've had my first game. We got our behinds whooped. The coach is not great, super bad at his job. And I found out all the tea on the South coach, finding out that he is not a good person, not a good businessman. He is a swindler. He is a liar. And, you know, everything is just hitting the fan as usual. But I'm staying in Aussie. So the goal has been reached. Well, the first goal anyway. And now I can just settle into my new lifestyle, my new role, and my new positions. So now it is time for our interactive segments. First one, I wish I knew that. So I wish I knew how small the international football world was. Like this was just a little taste about how small it is overseas and how much people talk and communicate and how everybody's in everyone's business. Yeah, that trend continues country to country, but this was my first little stint with it. And when he messaged me, he was like, "Oh, so I heard you trialed with Logan." I was like, "It just happened. Like it just happened yesterday. How do you know already?" I was so confident that because we didn't have practice, I didn't have to miss the training. No one had to know where I was. I was like, Gucci, I'm in the clear. I can just do this under wraps and do what I gotta do behind closed doors. And somebody all up in my business and told the coach that I trialed with Logan. And then that was when I realized, oh yeah, ain't no way you can do anything in this league without somebody else knowing and it getting around to somebody else. So I just really wish that I knew how it was internationally with the football world. I mean, it's it's a small world in the States as well, but because the States are so big and especially as you get up to higher levels, the teams are a lot more spread out. It's easier to kind of like mind your business and stay under the radar. Yeah, not overseas, y'all. Everybody know everybody business. You can't do nothing without somebody finding out because someone played for someone before, or someone played with someone before, or someone is someone's best friend, or someone's partner, someone's girlfriend, someone's wife. Everybody knows everybody's business. So just be prepared for that when playing overseas, that there's very little you can do without somebody else finding out. Yeah, so trust me on this one, y'all. Trust me on this one. Contact more than one team when you're searching. I got very lucky, my particular situation with South and Logan, that I just happened to have a teammate who was in contact with the goalkeeper coach of another team directly, and they were struggling and they really needed somebody. So it was kind of one of those, they were desperate, I was desperate, match made in heaven type situation. But in reality, it should be about two or three teams. You don't want to do too many because you don't want to juggle too many teams, because when they offer you trials and time slots, you don't want to be overbooked. But definitely at least two or three. And it's not something that you need to hide. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you are fully within your power to trial with more than one team. The point is that you want to be choosing them by the end of the process. They are vetting you in the beginning. They want to see what you got. But once you've made it very clear that you got what they need, you know what I'm saying? You're choosing them. So you should have the upper hand to be able to say, all right, well, I'm just going to go check out what's going on over there. And then I'm going to get back to you and let you know what I feel. So have more than one option. Like I said, it was a bit different for me with Logan because it was a desperation thing and it was mutual. But when going into the beginning of a season, typically, you're not being kicked to the curb by one team and having to pick by another one. You want to be able to say, okay, I've gone here. I like the coach, I like the style, but maybe I don't like the location. All right, I'm going here. Location's not that great, but the coaching is great and the style is exactly what I need and they have my exact position. Or you go to another place, I may have to come off the bench, but they're top seed in their league. You want to have those options, weigh out what you got going on, because it is about you. It's about your future, your career, your season. So do what you need to do to make sure you end up in the right place. So have more than one option. Trust me, it's way less stressful. I know about stress. Trust me. All right. So tune in 2 weeks to hear about how things start off with my new team, my new job, to hear how things are going with my new living situation, because by this time I move into a new place. It is a villa. It's not an apartment. Your girl upgraded. So yeah, tune in 2 weeks to hear all about that. And thank you for joining me as usual. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to listen and tune in, listening to my poems, listening to my story. It really means a lot. So as I said before, in like the very first episode, that I am going to be taking any questions or curiosity about my time while I'm playing overseas. And before I actually started the podcast, I was contacted by a friend from home who wanted to know a little bit about my overseas experience. So I'm going to read her question and I'm going to answer it out so you guys can have a little bit of an idea of how this will work going forward. If you have any questions for me, this is what it will be like. So this is from Michelle Thompson. I went to high school with her. I played football with her, ran track with her. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. Please check her out on her Instagram, Yo Mitch. It's YOOO Mitch. If I got that wrong, I'm so sorry, Michelle. Please correct me. But yeah, so she messaged me and said, I do got a question for you. I'm sure some of them have English knowledge, but did I have to learn a new language in every country that I went to? Yes, the answer is yes. Even in Australia, like I said, they speak English, but it's a very different type of English. I had to learn their slang, their mannerisms, all of it to assimilate. In Lugano, it was Italian. In Israel, it was obviously Hebrew, and now here in Germany, I'm learning German. But even here in Germany, there are so many different dialects. So I live in Saarland. And even within Saarland, there are different dialects. So I'm learning Saarländisch, not Deutsch. It is different. So when I go to Berlin, to visit my partner, it is a very different Deutsch there. So yes, everywhere I have moved to, I have learned a different language. And it has definitely expanded my brain and my knowledge, but it has kept me on my toes. And becoming multilingual is super, super interesting. It's effective. It's a skill. I definitely recommend, if you're going to move to a different country, learn their language, guys. First of all, it's a respect thing, but also it's a survival thing. You want to be able to communicate with who's around you. You want to be able to know how to get around, where things are. It's just easier for everybody. And I just can't understand why you would move to another country and not learn their language. But that's just me. That's just me. So I have other questions that I will get to in the next episode, but that is just a little insight to how I'll be answering questions. So if you're comfortable with me reading your username or your real name, I will read that out loud and then I will read your question and answer it. So thank you, Michelle, for the question. I will answer your other questions on the following episode. But yeah, that's it for this file in the Australia folder. Thank you again for tuning in. Y'all know what to do. Give it a rate, give it a review, leave a comment. I believe on Apple Podcasts you can leave a review. But if not, you can hit me up on the email for the official 440 Files email. It's 440files@gmail.com. You can follow me on the Instagram, which is 440 Files. You can request to follow me on my personal Instagram at npinky. You can follow and keep up on the YouTube channel, which is under the same name, 440 Files. I'm still working on those closed captions for the YouTube videos. Please have patience with me. But yeah, that's all for now. Tune in 2 weeks for file number 5 in the Australia folder, and let's kick it together. Bye, y'all.